our second Sunday of Advent, and we will have book of Malachi, chapter 3, verses 1 through 7. But before we'll do that, I want to ask you a question, and you probably have heard about this. Usually we talk that we have an Old Testament books, okay, and then we have a New Testament. And there is a gap of time between Old Testament and the New Testament. Okay, who knows how much time, roughly? I know. Stop doing this. So the Malachi is the last book in the Old Testament. Okay, then we have Matthew. Okay, then Mark, Luke, and so on and so forth. Luke definitely was not the first book is written, even though he goes back historically. So we begin with Matthew. Between the time of Jesus and the time of Malachi, how much time do we have? Yes.
500 years.
Yeah, close enough. About 450. Okay. Though we do not actually know exactly when the book of Malachi was written, so 500 is good enough. And that usually kind of gives a starter for a small confusion. Now, I will draw our timeline. And the reason this time for a timeline is a little bit different. So we have our timeline. So we have a book of Malachi. Let's say, just for fun, 500 BC. Okay? So between Malachi and New Testament, we have about 500 years. Okay? And it's not Malachi. You know, he was not Italian. Okay? He was a Jewish guy. So it's Malachi. You know, I've heard it said it this way. You know, so that's why I'm just heads up. You know, you don't say that. However cool it sounds, it's not the thing. Now, people think that then the Old Testament, which is here, so all of this kind of time, space on the board, which is devoted to time, we have, you know, slowly but surely, kind of like a set of diaries. You know, in Genesis, we have a diary of Abraham, and then Isaac, and then Jacob, and then Joseph. And then we come to Exodus, we have a diary of Moses. And he, like, day after day or week after week, you know, he keeps his journal, you know, his devotions, and that's what we have. And then another one, and so on and so forth. What I want to show you is actually Bible consists of 4 testaments in a sense of the sections of the book. Okay? What we have is patriarchal, which is Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, and then Joshua. Okay? That's so they write what is written in them is roughly from 2000 BC. I mean, story of creation, of course, but then when we come to story of Abraham, that's more okay. Let's write it from creation. So, creation to about 400 BC. Then actually we do have also another gap, almost same as this one, about 400 years, when we do not have any books here. The first book that comes after is Judges, Ruth, 1st, 2nd Samuel, let's say 1st Kings 1 through 11. So the story of Solomon is here. And then I'm not going to write them all down, let's say wisdom. And what books of wisdom do we have? Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Songs. Okay? That's all here. And this is written with a relatively short period of time, with about 1200 BC to roughly 950 BC. Okay? Then we have another gap for about 100 years. And then we have, if we talk about Old Testament, that's the rest. So we begin with 1 Kings 12 to the end, or 1 Kings 12, to 2 Kings. Okay? So that's another book. But, then it was added to this one, so we have a book like this. We have all the prophets, written prophets. Okay? What do we have? We have books that were written after exile. So these books are pre-exile and after exile. After exile, we have 1st and 2nd, I'm jumping ahead. 2nd Chronicles, plus Ezra, Nehemiah, okay? And the book of Esther. Okay, I think this is it. So, it is actually, sometimes it is very interesting to see how these guys rely really heavily on the previous books. And then we have prophets who speak of the days of old, and that's kind of like in usually when you hear like in Jeremiah or Isaiah, those guys usually speak in terms of do as you did in the days of old. It most often refer to the times of Moses, but also it reflects on the kingly period. So this is patriarchs, this is beginning of kingship, and this is prophets. Okay? Now think about this. And then comes Jesus. And what three most important ministries he has? He has a ministry of, he is the King of Kings, he is the prophet, but he also is the priest. And the priesthood begins here with patriarchs. Patriarchs themselves are the leaders and the priests, but under Moses, we have a special, we talked about this, we have a special tribe which is dedicated to the running or doing worship service. So what we have here in the New Testament is set of books, so that's NT. That's very simple. Set of books that, again, rely heavily on prophets, on king period, and on the priestly or patriarchal period. Okay? So that's just interesting to know that we have, sorry, I kind of messed up here. Because it's not going to do the math. So roughly like this. So one more.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. So it's all about that. So Judges, for example, when you read Judges, it's not a diary. Very often when we read the Bible, we think it's kind of like somebody wrote one story and another story. Judges is a very well written book with a very good structure, written on what happened before. So it's just interesting to see that we do not have one big book that we mostly do not really know anything about, Old Testament, and then something that we are more familiar, Gospels and Epistles, New Testament. Actually, we have sections of books that can be read together if we want to do it in chronological order. Okay? So, now, if this is Malachi, his thought, his theology, his message depends on what we know before. But he also points in time forward, and that's what we're going to talk about. Okay? So, any questions about this wonderful short chart?